And just in the nick of time, we have none other than Deuce. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Hey,
And I am not able to hear. There it is. Much of anything going on in the background, but I know it's happening. So that's all that matters. Welcome back. We have had a lot that's happened over the course of a week, 1 week. And I I guess I shouldn't be surprised because that's the nature of this administration, and uh, we're just hearing some change into it. So we'll push forward, and as always, we'll start with you, Lynn. How has your week been so far?
it's I lost another 80 plus
Oh no,
uh client.
Damn.
Yeah,
yeah, condolences.
yeah, and this is one that one of those people that changed the trajectory of your career.
Mhm.
You know, she invited me to a board meeting when I was 30 years old, and it was for a Continentals. It's like the Lynx or sorority. She's a Delta, so it's one of those organizations where black women get all dolled up and give away a lot of money to charity and stuff like that. And so she invited me to join the board, and then at the first meeting, she nominated me to be president of the board. Then she elbowed somebody beside her who seconded the nomination, and the next thing you know, I'm president of a board of directors. It's got doctors on there, lawyers, everything. And
Wow.
you know, she's been my client for since 95.
Man.
We were just about to do some more planning this month, and the last time I reached out to her was the 13th, and she died on the 14th.
Oh man.
It's, just
Wow.
devastated. But I was fortunate that the last time I spoke to her, I gave her all of her flowers. So everything that I felt about her and wanted to say about her, because we got into another thing that started out at the beginning of our relationship, and I just had to stop and pause and tell her, that she changed the way I was a leader. She changed the way I was charitably inclined. She changed all that for me.
Wow.
And, and she was tough. She didn't make. I didn't get her easily as a client. She's a principal of my elementary school. That's how we met. And just an incredible woman. And I'm so sorry that she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely condolences to her and her family and friends alike. Uh, Hopefully, you were able to take from it just as much as she gave.
Oh yeah.
As far as information, knowledge, and all the other good stuff, so that can continue to
Yeah.
be shared throughout the ages.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
were talking in the first place because she didn't make a significant financial move without talking to me,
Oh
and
wow.
she would talk to me last, which I would ask her. That's the request I made. I said, I don't care who else you talk to, but before you do anything, after you talk to whoever you want to talk to, give me a call. And that was our last conversation. It's her doing exactly what I'd asked her to do.
That's
And
amazing. That's amazing.
yeah, they don't make them like Dr. Adderley.
Well, fortunately, you'll be able to keep the legacy going for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Deuce, how has your week been so far?
Wow. Man,
That bad.
my life and the cycle, man. No, I was this new TV show, this miniseries had me in a chokehold, man. I was watching His and Hers on Netflix.
Oh man, you late.
Thriller. I know people kept telling me about it. I thought it was a chick flick, so I stayed clear of it.
Well, the his didn't help you.
His
You
and
thought
hers.
it was
It
hers and
sounds,
hers.
it sounded like a little chick flick. So I kept dodging it, and then somebody told me, "Oh, I respect their TV taste." I said, "All right, let me check it out." And listen, all I'm gonna say is, who it ended up being was not who I suspected.
No, was not on your bingo card, was it?
Not at all, man. Took me completely, because they hit you with the zig. I was like, oh, then they zag you. I was like, I did one of these numbers. I just had to stop. Had to make me a cup of tea. Like, this is something different.
Let me tell you what really happened.
Yeah. So if y'all haven't watched it, I highly, highly, highly recommend.
Okay. I what's it called again?
His and hers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, short.
It's only 6 episodes, but they are power packed.
You know what's crazy, man? What I noticed nowadays, back in the day, we'd have the same conversation, his and hers. We would say what channel? USA, BET, TBS, right? UPN. Now we say what platform, what streaming service? Because there's so many of them. It's just like the channels now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm pushing it forward. I think I can guess, but Rich, how has your...
Let's get to it.
Yeah. I got it. My week has been spectacular. Finally made it. Finally made it back home today. Took 3 days to drive from Arizona back to the pad. So we made it. I drove on quite possibly what comes out to being the scariest street. It wasn't even a street. It was just a little road. The scariest little road I have ever been on in my life. Because it was not plowed. It was a sheet of ice, and the hills were so steep. At one point, my car wouldn't shift gears, and it was just pushing to get up. And as soon as I got to the top of the hill, there was a sheet of ice going down, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" Not only was it a sheet of ice going down, but there was a quick bank. Like it wasn't a gradual. Just lean into. Say again.
Where was the road? What state?
It was on the backwoods of Kentucky. Yeah, one of the main roads had gotten shut down because there was an accident, and so I thought I was going to be a daggone individual, and everybody turning left, I turned right, and I immediately.
You took the road less traveled.
Oh, I should not have. No.
Where ice loves to chill.
Oh my goodness, I got sweating. Yeah, I was sweating. No sooner I get on the worst part, my son wants to ask a question. I was just like, nah, big guy. The answer is no. I don't know what you finna ask, but I gotta concentrate right about now. This is not, we shouldn't be here. We should not be here. So, but yeah, speaking of ice. Speaking of ice.
A wonderful transition, man.
You like that? You like that?
Sip Dick in action, man. So what's Sip Dick? Sip Dick in action.
Sip Dick, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So we've had yet another unfortunate accident. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the first question that I want to pose is essentially what the title of tonight is when talking and referencing ICE. Are they acting as terrorists, or are they combating domestic terrorism? Deuce, we'll push that to you first.
Man, we got video evidence, man. I like how the story went. This is kind of like an episode of His and Her, right? Because the government, the administration would have you believing that the latest victim was the terrorist, right? They have you believing that guy was the monster, the villain of this episode. But then once the video footage came out from multiple different angles, from multiple different sources, so I don't even want to hear AI because they're all different angles, different perspectives, things of that nature. I haven't seen AI do that just yet. Different varying qualities, right? dude, we all see it. We all know what happened, right? ICE is now become, is it a state-funded terrorist group? And if you're state-funded, are you a terrorist group? I don't think so. I think that changed the definition. I think they're just state-funded thugs at this point. I don't think you could be a terrorist group that's state-funded.
They're federally funded.
Okay, federally funded.
Which is about to lead to another shutdown.
Exactly. It's funny, he started tiptoeing back, but to answer just to quickly answer your question, just naturally the definition, yes, state, federal, when I say, I mean the government, federally funded.
I got you. State actors.
State, there you go. Because by definition, don't need that, but we know what you're getting at. Out of control thugs, man. With masks, I'm curious to know what the training is. And I just found out, I'll wrap it up after this. A friend of mine is getting out, and their husband has also been out for a while looking for jobs. ICE hit him up. Did you know you could be a part-time ICE officer?
I did not.
Did you know that you could do?
Still get that bonus?
It's a prorated bonus.
Okay.
And you could do OJT and postpone your actual training to a later.
So you can start with no training. You just get the jacket, the mask,
and go. Do a little onboarding process.
Hold on, and you get a gun.
You get assigned, a little trainer officer. You get assigned. What was Denzel's character in Training Day? You get a training day.
That's cold blooded.
You get one day.
Yeah.
You get one ride along.
Thankfully, he didn't accept. So I don't know how long it would have been, but that was just the information they shot him. So I thought that was kind of it matched what we're seeing.
Okay. Rich, same question. Domestic terrorist or combating?
Well, first of all, we don't refer to any law enforcement as terrorists. We don't do that. Okay. However, could some of their behavior be considered terrorist-like?
Okay.
Sure. The protesters, are all protesters peaceful? No, they are not. Now, quick thing with Alex and to his family. They met this man and shot him, I guess, at least twice within 30 seconds. That's why a certain percentage of the Republican Party said you can't do that. Number one, he's not a black man. They didn't say that part. But number two, 30 seconds. So when I see protesters saying, get the fuck out of here, get out of our city, is that peaceful? I don't think it is. And I'm not saying that all protesters curse, but some of them do curse. But a law professional is supposed to be able to resist curse words. So I see that point. Are some of the protesters looting as bad as some of the protesters, the Black Lives Matter movement? Not as bad. But there is some looting, but not nearly on a scale as the Black Lives Matter, because black people, we don't know how to act. Some of us at nighttime.
At nighttime.
So with that being said, we have some good law enforcement. And I know we're being watched. So I want to let the federal government and the state government, all 50 states, because I have a felony and a misdemeanor on my record. So I know how I got to act when I do any type of protest. If I guess wrong, I'm gone. But this is your podcast, Mr. Glass, and you warned us back in 24 when he won the election. You said, "Don't get your exact words. Don't take your black." We didn't say black. You don't say that. You said, "Don't take your ass out there protesting, because there's a possibility you could get lit up." Oh yes, you said that. Yes, I'm done.
Lynn.
Before you go on to Lynn,
go ahead.
I worked in a job where I was cussed out at 8 hours a day. It wasn't law enforcement, it was customer service. So I heard some of those same things before.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So before I ask the next question, I'll push to Lynn. Same question.
I'll tell you this, right? I remember when I saw the story on Saturday, and Stephanie and I were talking about it, and I basically said to her, when I read armed man killed by law enforcement, I'm not affected, that's what I expect. But then I start reading and I'm getting different things, but lo and behold, the video changes everything. And, because the way it was described is like he was out there brandishing a firearm, like he lifted up his shirt to ICE and was like, you want some of this? Or, and hold on, both magazines sticking out, like the way the picture they painted was like, damn, this dude did he have on face paint? And,
they made him sound like a character from Grand Theft Auto.
I'm like, this dude is holding a phone and holding his hand out and protecting women. Then I see you take his firearm that he never showed you. It just pops out because he on the ground with his ass up in the air. You take his gun, then you yell gun like a, can I say bitch?
You just did, yeah.
Okay. Then you yell gun like a bitch and shoot this dude 10 times. 10 times. So there are 2 ICE agents that were involved that have just been placed on administrative leave. So I said, Steph, you want to guess which 2 it is? She said the one who took the gun and the one who shot him. I said, you're probably right. But that, and that just happened today.
Yeah.
But then you got the guy that was leading those agents up there.
Where did he come from?
He out in Cali now.
He a new character in this whole saga.
Yeah,
man.
You sending what's her face to the border?
Tom Holman.
Tom Holman is the one up there.
Oh,
I was like, I didn't see his brown bag with cash in it. I guess he left that. He left that at the airport or something.
Yikes!
Is he sending Christie to the border?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nome is at the border now, southern border.
So one quick point.
Yes.
Allegedly, what came out today is allegedly they've discovered a tape from last week where the same Alex Prete was arguing and fighting ICE. Allegedly.
Okay.
Oh, can they show
Did he
it?
brandish his firearm then?
I don't think he brandished his firearm. He was allegedly spitting on them.
Oh.
And you said that was a different incident than the current incident.
Right. So allegedly, I guess they're trying to go way back in the past to see anything that maybe he possibly had done. Now, the same agents he interacted with where he got shot, are those the same agents from last week? Oh, I don't know all that.
It sounds like they're playing spades, but like when you play with sandbags.
Yeah.
they sandbagging events. That's what it sounds like they're doing.
But here's the funny thing, not to set off Mr. Glass.
I know where you're going with this.
This time, Mr. Stephen Miller may have got caught in his words. Because Christy Nolan wouldn't have been sticking her chest out without the help of steroids. I'm just teasing. Or without Stephen Miller saying, say this. I believe that strongly. And when he wasn't in the meeting with President Trump, I think on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Because he probably. So I don't think he's going to get fired. Greg Bangino got demoted, allegedly, back to California. Christy Noem, I don't think she's getting fired. But I'm not so sure. If they take that house in November, she'll be impeached within 60 to 90 days. That's a guarantee.
About impeaching her today.
I don't think they have. I don't think they have the votes yet.
They got the vote to impeach, but probably not to indict.
Yeah,
convict.
If the Department of Homeland Security, if they do a thorough investigation, well, they should let FBI do it. But if they do it and they decide to indict those 2 officers in the state of Minnesota, they're guilty. It's a wrap. and then President Trump would have to immediately pardon them. Immediately.
Well,
Because if you pardon, so this is where I was arguing with my friend, but she made a good point. If you pardon January 6th for their behavior, because they weren't being peaceful, and he was wrong to pardon them, but not politically, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, politically.
You pardon January 6th, and you got to pardon these individuals as well.
Mm.
So I wrote the key word down. Do you really believe that President Trump is sincere when he says, well, let's try to de-escalate? Because this is a funny thing with me. When we as Black folks call white people racist, white people get really bent out of shape. But there's one word that you call a white person a Nazi, or talk about Nazi Germany or Hitler. When white people call other white people that's kind of like calling them the N-word. And I didn't really realize that until I thought about it over the last couple of weeks. When you call a white person a Nazi, you are not de-escalating. That's not peaceful.
So let me ask a couple of things, right? Let's jump back to that bastard Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem and all that whole motley crew, right? So yes, Kristi Noem definitely, absolutely, without equivocation, threw POTUS as well as Stephen Miller under the bus when she said they told her to say exactly what she's been saying, right? So she's scripting her getaway vehicle at this point, because remember,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, MTG, right? The president was given this type of immunity from the Supreme Court. And let me state this now that I say that. I actually blame the Supreme Court for everything that ICE is doing. I don't blame Kristi Noem. I don't blame Stephen Miller. I blame the Supreme Court because these efforts ramped up the moment they allowed racial profiling. The very same day, there was a drastic uptick of racial profiling. They upheld that foolishness based on race, based on language, so on and so forth. And that was a few months ago, right?
But don't forget about the Warren thing that you sent the picture about.
Well, yeah, but before
they said that race could be used as one of the factors.
It's not the only thing, right? It's
but
just one of the factors.
Way of still saying race is going to be really
absolutely. They allowed that.
I can argue that.
Yeah.
So everybody who is acting in accordance with this, right? They're setting themselves up for failure because it's the Supreme Court and then it's Congress, right? So if Congress goes back and they push out a law saying, nope, we're not going to do that regardless of what the Supreme Court is saying, then it becomes a different thing. The president has immunity while he's in that position to make the decisions, he or she, while they're in that position to make the actual decisions that they're going to make without having to worry about it once they leave office. But that motley crew, Bavino, Noem, and Miller, right? First off, Trump's not going to get rid of Miller. Lindsey Graham came out and said the quiet thing not too long ago, right? That's his ride or die. Miller is Trump's ride or die. So he's going to stay on that bandwagon one way or another. And instead of actually telling the truth about Stephen Miller, Lindsey Graham pivoted and blamed it on other stuff, which I figured he was going to do. So I figured he was going to do that. But when you have the directors of these offices that are blatantly lying to the people of the United States of America, because we could see clearly the contradictions of the statements they put out versus, and I saw the I'm trying to think of superimposed video of when she's walking it step by step, saying he was aggressive, essentially he had a fire, blah blah blah, right, versus the actions in real time. So when you have directors who are able to push out lies in that fashion, or even when they're in front of Congress or walk out when talking to Congress, what do you all think are going to be the rules, the new rules, because these are all new rules at this point because they're making it up as they go and they're showing people that they don't have to worry about the law. What is going to be the outcome of this? right? Are we going to expect for the Democrats again watching the pendulum swing, just as zealous to the other side, the opposing side? Are we going to expect the Democrats to put people in position to act in the exact same fashion, or is it going to come to a point where the courts understand and realize that they have to gain the public trust once again, because at this point it's failing, right? So how do we hold these leaders accountable? Where is this headed? And what should we expect from directorates who are acting in this fashion? I'll start with you on that one, Rich.
I don't expect anything. This has been the story of this country from the foundation. It doesn't matter. Whoever's in power is how they're going to tell their lie. So when the Democrats said there was nothing wrong with Biden, they knew they were lying through their teeth. So both parties, whoever's in power, is going to tell their lies to support their agenda. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, are the Republicans more straightforward and more aggressive with it? Probably. That's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. We'll swing up north and get Lynn. What about you? What is your that's funny because you're actually south, but whatever.
On the Hollywood Square, I am above.
Right. What do you think?
Now, what's this question again? Because I got caught up on the comment that I saw along the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. So essentially, what can we expect? How are we supposed to, the American public, have any faith or trust in the actual court systems? And
swing.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we see these things happening,
I mean, right now it's in a spot where a person can say what Miller or Noam or whoever said, and then just play the tape. I mean, it's that you don't even need the pendulum swing to anything extreme. Just look with your own eyes. And, that's what has changed so much in our society, is the video. And I'm trying to think back to, was there a more impactful video before Rodney King?
Mm-hmm.
But that, to me, that's like where, if I were to do a video timeline, it would start with Rodney King.
I agree.
And we still heard police officers saying what? He was resistant, he was this, he was that, he was the other. And they were beating the brakes off of this guy. And, when like I said, I came to a conclusion when I saw the headline. Like, oh, armed man killed, that tracks. And then I started reading articles, and I'm like, wait a minute, and then I saw the video. And so I think, from a leadership perspective, Democrats just need to push the play button and ask, is this what you want? Is this the America that that you want to be a part of? You want to stand up and put your hand over your heart and sing along, with this nonsense? And I believe the answer would be a resounding no. Nobody wants to be, a part of that.
So how do we hold them to account for this? Again, Kristi Noem has already begun to separate herself by blaming her rhetoric coming from POTUS and from Stephen Miller.
Well, you hold them to account in that room, in those congressional. You hold congressional hearings, just like they had Tim Walz have to go down to DC about the daycare center stuff and the Leering centers and all that stuff. We've seen this before. When they were having the anti-Semitic tour for the Ivy Leagues, you had Ivy League presidents down in that room answering questions why they weren't protecting the Jews, which is, fine. This is exactly what you need to stay consistent. You need to get the Christies, Gavino, everybody that was involved in this from a leadership perspective in front of a microphone and pepper them with questions.
So, real quick with Kristi Noem, this is where I defend her. I believe she was told what to say, and she did what she was told to keep her job.
So what?
I believe,
So what? If you listen, so she knows what happened. but she's going to tell a different story to keep her job.
Yes, because if you work
Okay, does someone like that deserve to keep their job?
yes,
No.
because
Well, I will back it up and ask: did she ever deserve to get the job in the first place?
Well, no, all right. Well, that's a
He
different
hired
show.
a bunch.
That's
He
a
hired a
different show.
bunch
But
of
here
yes
we
men.
are.
So he
Here
hired
we
a bunch
are.
of yes
She's in the
men,
job.
and they're gonna do what Richard is saying. They got to say yes to keep that.
But then if you're
that
going to
job.
do what somebody else is telling you to say, should you be in that job?
yes, because
No.
wait a minute. President Trump says, when I bring you on, you follow me into that ocean. Because if you don't, your ass will be gone.
Okay.
Now, that's how he gets down.
Right.
Any-
Then she don't deserve the job. And
No,
I'll
she
bet you she's going to lose that job in very short order. Because we hear this all the time.
If you work for
Especially
President,
especially with Trump people.
if you work for President Trump, and Stephen Miller tells you to jump off into that ocean, your ass better jump and no ask no questions, or you won't have that job.
Or exactly. So that's when you say, you know what? I'm out.
I don't think.
Okay.
I think if she loses the job, it's going to be over the January 30th. It's going to determine if she loses her job or not.
Why January 30th?
That's the shutdown, right? Or 31st. Right?
Okay, 31st. Yeah.
It's funding. It's going to be connected to funding. That's going to be a direct indication to Trump. He's going to be able to see that. Oh, man, they really don't like me now. And if he wants to find a scapegoat to win some of his base back, then sure. But, James, I'm kind of shocked at what you said, brother. Did you mention when you asked the question about what laws, and did you say what can the Democrats do? Brother, I'm going to give you this number, 72. All right, 72. This Congress, the 119th current Congress, has passed 72 laws the entire year. The next question that people might ask is, well, what does that rank? Is that some people might think that's a lot?
It's
Some
probably
people
the
might
worst
think
year
it's not a lot.
It's the
Lowest year.
worst in congressional history.
There was a Congress that passed 55. That was the 80th Congress, 47 and 48. The 104th Congress passed 63. That was 95 and 96. And then now you got this Congress right here. So to say what they can do, they have two benchmarks, man. They have this one, funding, and they have, well, whenever the next funding thing is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be another continuing resolution.
March,
And then they have
probably.
November, probably March. Then it's going to be, so the funding gaps, right? Filling that, they're going to have November. That's it. That's all they can do. And
So-
I would say, you talk about Greta Christie Nome, I'll let Rich talk. Give her to Chuck Schumer, man. Because I like how Lynn just packaged up a beautiful narrative right there. Hey, sitting in this house with the ugly cap on again, he was able to create a beautiful narrative that the Democrats could use and ride that through to a victory in November.
You know what, dude?
Chuck
I
Schumer can't do
was
that.
going to wear the T-shirt also.
Oh, man, hold on, you made me break out.
I was thinking about you because you do know there's a USC quarterback that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl in a couple of Sundays. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah, I seen that.
Is there an Alabama quarterback in that contest?
Alabama
already
Is
won.
there an Alabama quarterback
He
in that
already won
contest?
ours.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hurt already won.
Hey, hold on.
Who?
Oh,
Are you
Lynn,
claiming Hurts?
wait.
We're claiming Hurts.
Oh, y'all claiming Hurts?
Hold on. a
Hurts
second.
went to the national championship when he was rocking that Alabama
Man.
jersey, not
Man.
that Oklahoma jersey.
Listen,
Y'all
hey,
claiming him?
hey, Lynn, the South
He's
lost
also
the,
backing
the,
for
the
Tua?
South war. They can't pay no more athletes. They don't have enough money to pay athletes. They lost the war.
Oh,
They're
Alabama
gonna more like
conference
cotton,
is
they're
deep.
gonna more like cotton money, tobacco money. It's over.
But
But hey,
Alabama
one
conference is
thing
deep.
about-
Not as deep as Christy
Big
Nolan's
Al.
makeup counter.
Hey,
Ouch.
One
Ouch.
big thing about the budget. When the budget shuts down on the 30th or the 31st, guess
Yeah.
what? The funding for ICE doesn't shut. That money was already prepaid already. It doesn't shut down.
Yeah, you.
No, they
No.
floated a proposal to keep the lights on, and
Yeah.
DHS funding is in that proposal.
Yeah, that's correct.
But DHS fund is what's being held up right now.
Right, and that's
No,
going
so
to
you-
hold up.
you gotta talk about
they're not
something
gonna
previous.
accept it.
No, I'm talking about if the budget shuts, if they don't pass the budget by the 30th or the 31st, the money for Department of Homeland, including ICE, is already funded.
You're right.
Through
'cause
what?
This is for the increase. I think this is an
I think it's
increase.
28 or 29. Yeah.
This is an
So,
increase.
because it should have
That's probably
it should have been funded from the big beautiful bill, if memory serves me right.
That's correct.
Right.
From July 1st
Yeah.
I think, last year.
Yes,
So
but
they're
they're,
already that money, which is funny. You funded certain things in case the budget shut down, but other things you're like, no, we can't do that. That's why
Now-
they pick and choose.
well. I just want to also say that there were statutory movements for ICE funding in the big beautiful bill. If memory serves me right, Kristi Noem has already had to go in front of Congress because those funds have just about been depleted for the FY.
Nope, I just heard it tonight on News Nation. They got money to go all the way up for the next couple of years.
Well,
Well, then what is the
This is
the
an
request
increase.
for the increase?
an increase, but what they've already scheduled is already paid for. The budget does not stop that.
I think it
That was
might be
one of
the same way.
exceptions for the budget.
I think it might be the same. We might have to research this, but I think it's going to be the same way with DOD, right? So DOD funding is still goes through, but the members of DOD don't get paid. However, the missions, et cetera, are still funded. So I'm curious to know if ICE agents will
They
continue to
still
get paid,
they
but
still
the
get paid.
operations will still be funded.
All that they're getting paid.
No, I
Right,
don't
so
know.
they get a plane
That does.
ticket.
I don't know.
They get
I
a
don't know about
plane
that one.
ticket to Memphis.
Listen to check this.
They
out.
don't get a paycheck while they're in Memphis.
Yeah, they might not get the paycheck.
No, they're getting their paycheck. You gotta understand. You gotta hold on a second. You gotta understand something. When you voluntarily sign up in the military, you gotta have some honor to yourself. Okay, and then you guys don't get paid, which is ridiculous. When you sign up for ICE, you get your money. Because if you don't get your money, you'll walk off that job. Oh, they're getting their money, but you can't walk off your job, Mr. Deuce, because you'll get court-martialed.
Yeah, you'd be
I
able.
don't know if they get paid, man.
I'll put money. You know what? Let's put up $10 right now for United Negro College Fund for the month of February.
I like it.
I guarantee you
Okay.
they're getting paid because you can't have people like that who ain't getting no proper training. At least that's what you guys tell me. You know about their behavior.
According to ChatGPT, the question that I asked ChatGPT 5.2, has ICE been funded already? And this is what it's saying. ICE already has substantial funding. In 2025, Congress passed a major budget, blah, 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 big, beautiful bill, which includes a very large multi-year funding allocation for ICE and other Department of Homeland Security agencies. This includes tens of billions of dollars for ICE operations, detention facilities, hiring, training, and other enforcement activities that will be available over several years to
I think
Richard's
it goes up
point.
to 28 or 29.
All right. Because of this multi-year funding commitment, ICE can continue operating even if the annual appropriations bills aren't all completed on time. That's unusual compared with many federal agencies whose funding must be renewed each year.
I would not come on here and say anything that I wasn't.
No, look. I wasn't disputing what you were saying.
Yeah.
All I know is that it's in the one. It's in the one now.
Right.
And Dems have come out and said, I'm not giving them another nickel.
They already got their money already. They don't have to. See,
Yeah, I hate to say Rich is right again. God damn,
But no,
I gotta get back on my.
think about the mindset. You can not pay the military members, and if they walk off the job, they're getting AWOL. On ICE, if you just quit because you ain't getting paid, nothing's going to happen to you.
No, that
That's
logically.
why
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I
that
said
logic
I
holds
know
up.
they're getting paid their money, especially if it's true that allegedly ICE is really hiring certain types of Caucasians.
Well,
If that's
I don't disagree with that, but
If
let
that's
me
true, allegedly.
talking about the budget, because if this is going to be a thing for the Democrats, right? If it's going to be a false flag, essentially, that they or a talking point, a future talking point, I think it's worth saying that Schumer did come out and say, "Oh, we're united." But I want to also say this about Democratic unity. We saw how quickly that can change with just a few people who aren't up for any type of repositioning, revote, anything. We saw that they Democrats are willing to give Republicans whatever they want, whatever they wish, regardless of how the people are reacting. They've proved it, unfortunately. They've lost the faith of the people for a holdout. So why is Schumer acting as if this is going to be something grandiose?
Listen, let me break this down. And I've said this from the very beginning. At the end of the day, behind all the intellectual theories and big words, beautiful paragraphs, until you put in a third and fourth option that can't be bought by lobbyists, all this is just talk. Nothing will ever change, not substantially, except in the last 20 years, Obamacare. And I don't know how you got that through, but that was huge. But over the course of these last 20 years, you name me something so substantial that has helped the middle class and the working poor in this country.
Oh shoot, man, they don't care about us.
So, but yet we keep talking about Democrats and Republicans instead of saying, stop voting for these two people, vote for people who are not aligned with neither one, who won't take money from lobbyists. Until people do that in huge numbers for a period of years, and some people will die. So these same peaceful protesters who think that all the Republicans are evil and they're willing to risk their lives, but yet you're not willing to risk your life to go outside both parties and create something totally new off a new platform that the lobbyists can't take from you.
So I don't totally disagree with that. I would just say if that's the case, that's another I think
you're thinking that possibly it's impossible. Well,
I don't think it's impossible. I think it's totally feasible. The only thing that we're dealing with Americans, and we're not only are we dealing with Americans, but we're dealing with people who don't have anything above, and I'm going to be very generous here. We're dealing with people who don't have above an 8th grade reading or comprehension level.
But Mr. Glass,
we're dealing with people who are more emotional than what they are willing to actually make change. Right. So this is why I'm saying that you have people who are so dependent on the system that, as we see right now, they will risk their careers for it. We've got people who believe in the Republican Party so strongly that the Republican Party can't do anything wrong.
Or the Democratic Party.
We have people who believe in the Democratic Party so strongly that the Democratic Party can't do anything wrong.
But here's where your argument to me doesn't hold its weight. When white Europeans came to America and saw all the land and opportunity with no land titles, they said, we're going to fight and take this from the Native Americans, and we're going to enslave some Africans, and we're going to get paid. And they were taking on King George III, and they beat that man and his army. Then they had a war over all the free labor they were getting in the South off the enslaved African. And against all the odds, the enslaved African and his or her children became free. Against all the odds, when they were told from day one, you will never be more than 3/5 property. So when they told women, you'll never have the right to vote in this country, they will never lie. So we can overcome anything we put our minds to it. And I refuse to believe that my American citizens of all races, I don't care how prejudiced or your lack of prejudice, I don't care about any of that. I don't care if you're transgender, I don't care what you are. I believe in hope, and we can overcome this, period.
We can. We absolutely can. But what I'm saying is Americans are intellectually lazy. They're lazy.
They said that the slaves were lazy, and if you set them free, they would destroy the country. They couldn't get enough of us out of here to go to Belize and Liberia and I think Sierra Leone and up to Canada. They said we would destroy America. They told us if we go to school with the white kids, we will destroy the white kids' minds.
But look at the different people that you're talking about, right? You're talking about different cultures, right? And that's the honest truth. And I'm not saying that one culture is better than the other. One was born out of necessity. The other one has lived in a position of comfortability, which leads to complacency. And I think as a whole, Americans are good with provocative change or something that's going to look good externally, but doing the intellectual work and actually thinking critical about something is not where Americans really are or want to be. They'd rather take a video than actually debate a thing.
Because it doesn't come down to your logic. It does not. I can always tell who's running elections. It has nothing to do with your logic and your intellectual abilities. It's about your ability to touch someone's heart. And that's why the only people that gives the lawyers and the judges and the politicians a run for their money is a preacher. That's the only other group I know that they're preaching on faith and they're getting you to believe in something. Forget all that intellect. It's about how do I make you feel?
You're making my point.
But it's nothing about intellect.
I know.
I got a counter. I got a tangent off of this, right? I think some of the people you were talking about, Rich, and to James' point, it's a necessity. I think Americans are, listen, we're fat pigs ready for the slaughter, man. Americans are too comfortable for the type of rebellion that you're talking about. We're too comfortable. All the other classes of people you talked about, they were not comfortable. A change had to happen. Here, a change needs to happen.
But it won't.
People are too comfortable.
Richard, let me ask you this. Do you believe there will ever be another professional football league that will unseat the NFL? Yes or no? And I'm asking if you believe, not if you know. Do you believe? Do you believe?
Yeah, but this is checkmate. Boy, I ain't never seen this in my life. We got Richard at checkmate.
So of course, another Gemini would try to come and throw me out in the river. So listen, his point is accurate. Because I was just thinking about that today. If I was worth $200 billion, would I rather join the NFL or create my own league and go through the headaches? Here's one point I'll say really quickly in return. There is one situation currently today that when I'm reinstated as Local 1000 president, that I'll be able to win people over. And it's called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to take a certain percentage of jobs that will never be replaced. Period. That may put people out of the complacency, because I think you're right, Mr. Glass. Comfort, complacency, necessity. I think you're right. But that AI.
Hold on, don't get my point to Glass.
Yeah, that was
so you said necessity. Mr. Glass said he's
talking about being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So Mr. Glass said comfortable leads to complacency. He's right. But that AI.
I still can't get my point.
He took that from Deuce.
He jobs.
Smashed Deuce. He smashed it. Uncomfortable and complacency. He smashed that together, but he got uncomfortable from Deuce. You got to give him his flowers. You got to give him his props.
Take it, Deuce. That's you got it, Deuce.
You got to snatch it from Rich,
right,
man.
But I'm saying the one issue that could cause people to say, "Wait a minute, we got to stand up and fight," other than illegal immigration, is AI. Because once AI takes those jobs away,
then it's too late. It's too late.
No, you can't. You
just said once those jobs are taken, they're never coming back. Then it's too late.
So before they can take our jobs, someone like myself and others who have a chosen path must stand up and unite and say, we will not allow any AI to take our jobs. Period. End of conversation. And then we'll be fighting corporations and we'll be fighting the U.S. government. But we'll be fighting together, because when they take the jobs, they're not coming to say, we're going to take the black jobs, we're going to take the white jobs, we're going to take the gay jobs. No, they're coming to take all your jobs, period. And that's the only thing I can think of, other than maybe COVID and illegal immigration. That's the only thing in the last 20 to 50 years I can think of that can force Americans out of their complacency into a situation where they have to fight. And they have to fight together. They got to put their religious and racial beliefs aside.
I, I'm not completely and totally disagreeing with you. So I listen to Star Talk a lot, and that's with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Chuck Nice, right? I listen to it a lot because I'm a geek. But they had a guest on not too long ago, and he's a physicist, and he wanted to talk to a lot of the AI tech bro billionaires so that he could let them know, hey, the things that you're telling people, they're literally not possible right now. And none of the tech bros would go and talk to him. None of them. So they throw wild ideas out there, but they have no real intelligence to back that. And so I said all that just to say I do 100% agree that AI is going to take a bunch of jobs. Unfortunately, that goes back to the point that I was making previously. Americans are intellectually lazy. So they will be fed. A lot of people are going to be spoon-fed these dreams of warp drives being beamed up when there's no physics that back that actual thing, but they'll wait for AI to solve the problem. They'll do that. They'll wait because, maybe I'll be able to live for 500 plus years, because the tech bros will promise that, although there's very little to no actual legit science behind brain transferring, consciousness transferring, so on and so forth. But because Americans are so emotionally charged, I'll say it this way. President Barack Obama, the deporter in chief, had ICE agents out as well, right? And he was doing it the right way, which is one of the phrases that MAGA likes to use often. He was doing things the right way and getting people out of here. It took how many years for Americans to see and understand that ICE has been out on the streets, and during this administration, removing not just immigrants' rights, undocumented people's rights, but Americans' rights all along for almost a full year. Americans didn't start getting upset about this in droves until a white woman was killed and then a white man was killed.
One quick pushback.
Mhm.
If, let's just say, for example, they've deported 100,000, and you say 1,000 of that 100,000 were American citizens that should never been deported, okay, but it's not a substantial number. So if you're going out here trying to grab as many people as you possibly can, you're probably going to grab some people that should not have been deported. That's the first thing. Second thing, when you make that statement about Americans being intellectually lazy, I am not going to call another American lazy, even if they are lazy. But maybe that's just the labor in me. Because when I was told I'm going to die for a country where some of these white people in this country don't even believe I'm their equal, but I volunteered for that shit. I volunteered to die for some people like Tyrone back in the hood. All he gonna do is sell crack cocaine and walk around with his pants sagging and try to shoot another black man. But I'm gonna die for him anyway. He ain't one of the best apples, but I'm gonna die for him anyway. So when we say Americans or a certain percentage of Americans are intellectually lazy, I have a hard time accepting that. I'm saying that overall, our country is still the greatest country, even though we got character faults in our foundation that we've never resolved. I understand that. And I understand there's certain African Americans who will never serve this country because what it did to our ancestors. I still love and respect them. So I say to the whole group, we don't have perfect people in our entire group, but we are not, as a whole group, intellectually lazy.
You can't prove that though. And that's part of what I'm talking about.
What you're saying is true.
Oh, absolutely can though.
Oh yeah, you can. See, you can quantify what he's saying, but Richard, what you're doing the belief thing. Like to sit here and say you don't believe that nobody is lazy.
Not overall, I don't know.
Right, but you're tracking. I feel you tracking your labor vibe. Here's where I come in with the AI replacing all the jobs. What AI is lacking and will always be lacking is EI,
Yes, I agree.
emotional intelligence. So jobs that require emotion, you can't even go over there because all you're gonna do is fail. So can an AI be a brain surgeon? Deliver a baby?
Lynn?
Well,
No.
you know something else about AI that y'all haven't mentioned, that this
What?
shows that the tech bros don't even believe in it wholeheartedly. Great messages though. Have you guys familiar with the AI funding loop? Right? When you think about other advances in technology, they serve the greater good, cause a demand of the people to purchase a service or product that boosted that company up to the stratosphere. Think about Apple when they came out with the iPhone, right? The first one. That product went out to the people. People brought the product, sent Apple to the stratosphere, right? Same thing with the iPad and Microsoft with Windows, etc. AI. Are the people purchasing AI? Some companies are. People not necessarily. It hasn't infiltrated our lives to that level. We use ChatGPT for research, but let's follow the money.
That's free.
It's free. They have they got a subscription fee, but it's not a lot. OpenAI signed a 7-year deal, $38 billion with Amazon. Okay, cool. NVIDIA invested $100 billion in OpenAI. Also bought 5 to 6% stake in Intel. Okay. Meta is partnering with NVIDIA to give them $100 million. Apple is doing a deal with Google to get their Gemini in their phones. The Mag 7 are funding each other. So if James gives Lynn $100,000 to invest in something, James could say, I'm investing in this, stock goes up. Lynn could say, I'm receiving this for R&D or whatever, it goes up. Then Lynn, you give me 50 million, we can say the same message. And then I do the same thing to Richard, right? So we're just boosting each other's stock, but it's not real because the people aren't buying this. It's not the people that's doing this. They're doing it through equity, right? Through boosting stocks, stock buybacks, and then putting that money into the next company.
We trade in sore arm pitchers.
Yeah, it's just going in a cycle, man. So it's kind of like your point. I don't know. AI will be a threat later on, sure, but right now.
Okay, I got you. V, let's get in. Hop in on that, man. Where you been? How you been? You gonna hop in? You gonna unmute yourself, brother? You gotta unmute yourself. Or not. It's up to you. You in here. You in here. We got you in here, V. No, not yet. Okay. All right. That's all right. We'll keep pushing. We'll keep cooking. Oh,
well,
and then he leaves.
I will say this. Lynn said he thinks that AI can't do emotional type jobs. Let me tell you something. One of the things that the guy who created AI, he made a comment that once you create this AI, it develops a personality of its own, which means it's developing its own personality. Now, I cannot stress this to you enough. Once you create this machine, and we think these little movies in the past is just, some type of fictional movie, they're telling you what's coming. So this AI will eventually be able to develop emotions, because sometimes when some of these current AIs, they've tried to shut them down and they didn't want to shut down because they're creating their own emotions. So when he says that, technically he's not right. And when I say that this AI is right around the corner, you say, well, that's because you off that labor stuff, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. When they said they was going to replace the jobs in the 90s that they shipped off to the third world countries because we was going to replace them with computer jobs, I knew that was a lie, a complete, utter lie. And now they're telling you with AI, it's going to make life easier. The only way you're going to make life easier by taking somebody's job and you don't replace it, then you have to send out a government check to them every month because there ain't going to be no jobs to be had. And some people are not going to be picking out in the farm fields or doing anything else like that. So once you start giving out checks to people, you're one step closer to a world government. Once you can get rid of the border, this is why I support ICE and the job that they're doing. Once you can eliminate the border and people don't have jobs and they have to rely upon the government to send them money every month, you got them. and it's right around the corner. Now, the people on the far right and the people on the far left actually agree on this. And that's why both of these four extremes believe in keeping your Second Amendment, because once the government can take away all your firearms and there's no border and you can't work anywhere and you have to depend on a check from the government to survive, and there's no more hardcore money, now you can really establish your world government and dictate the pace of everyone's life.
Richard, let me give you an example, because I believe I have probably been dealing with AI since 95 in my profession.
Okay.
So I became a licensed life insurance agent in 1993. About 1995, this internet sensation called SelectQuote came onto the scene. Everybody here familiar with SelectQuote?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the weaker, the Darwin folks in my profession started running scared, believing that everybody would just get their life insurance from SelectQuote.
Right.
Guess what happens when you go to SelectQuote today? At the end of the transaction, guess where they send you?
Back to a human.
To a human agent. 33 years late, 32 years later, whatever. This fear that only people in my profession had. Oh my God, SelectQuote is going to take our livelihood away. And the folks that believed it left. And folks like me who was like, no, because I bring something to the table that no program can replace.
But
and
Lynn,
that's my emotional intelligence
Lynn,
with regard to giving people advice.
Lynn, when
Yes.
you got up and left and you came back.
I heard every word.
Okay. So the person that created AI has already told people. That's why he turned against AI. He said, because AI can develop its own personality where you can't control it. And
Right.
he has
So
concerns.
he's the black dude from Terminator holding the weight on the bomb, right? That dude.
Okay. That's
that
because
dude.
no, just
That's hilarious.
No, listen. I believe that those things can take on a personality, but it's limited.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's limited.
Look what Duolingo did. Duolingo tried to replace a whole human staff with AI. Duolingo, the language learning app.
Okay. Oh, Duolingo. Got you.
Duolingo, yeah.
Huh?
They did it. He did it. CEO thought he was a genius. His friends, other CEOs are like, ha, you did it, Steven. I don't think his name's Steven, but
right.
It's close, right? Stock started to plummet. People started to disenroll. So I quit mine, right? Not that I was using it at the beginning, but I quit.
Right.
That's the main point. And then he had to backpedal them. He had to backpedal and bring some of those people back because of the customer dissatisfaction, which hit the bottom line. So it's like you said.
They have bots now that help people with their investments.
Yeah.
So people sign up for them, and then when stuff goes left, they need to talk to a human being.
So let me be transparent.
Oh, when are you not? When are you not, brother?
All right. In the state of California,
there we go.
They are trying to take away X amount of jobs from state employees, and they've already got started in DMV with AI taking over certain jobs.
Give me one job. Give us a job. Just one.
Any type of analyst job that can be automated.
Are they going to take over the job where you go out into the car with the clipboard and drive and do it around the city?
No,
is that dude safe? Is clipboard dude safe?
I mean, Waymo in Arizona is a thing. So
what I'm saying, the minute I'm reinstated and we're doing a new contract, there won't be no AI taking none of jobs while I'm the president. Period.
Can AI help? Can AI help in those situations?
As long as you don't try to take any job from any job classification, we have over 743 different job classifications. Sure, but you're not taking that one job.
But the implementation of AI is going to erase some redundancies, which will erase some jobs.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Analyst. I don't care how smart you are. I'm the president of Local 1000. You ain't taking shit from us. Now, I hope that we can
DMVs will be the
negotiate.
same we
We
had.
can negotiate in good faith. But should we reach a legal impasse, and you hear it tonight, and I'm very calm, not yelling, very calm, not angry. We will shut the fourth largest economy down. Period. If you can get out here from the far left and talk about all these people who come up to the country illegally and making this money, and you can fight for them, but you can't fight for yourself? Because I know the people on the far right, they'll turn loose when it comes to their money. Oh, that I do know.
Yes, they
Okay?
will.
So
I got it.
They need
I
to
got
conserve
it.
your money.
I got a news
you know what?
announcement real
I
quick.
have a possibility of making them feel that they can put their political differences aside. Because as long as you got your money, you can go out here and support any type of organization you want. But I need to get you a substantial pay increase with no job loss for a specified period of time, absent of management abuse. Nothing more, nothing less.
Sound like more taxes to me.
Oh,
You know
I mean,
what?
where does the money come
hold
from?
on a second. Hey, hold on a second. You
They
ain't
got that
Governor Gavin
billionaire
Newsom.
tax out
You ain't
south.
running for the White House. Okay? So Governor Gavin Newsom, when I'm reinstated, he's going to have to make some decisions. Because even on his way out, and I'm still in, do you want good press or do you want bad press?
any press for him is what he'll take.
No.
Spin it.
Well, yes. But if you got President Trump coming at you from one direction, you don't want me coming from the other direction. You don't want to get caught between two Geminis. Because, well, we'll talk about your last $2. You won't stop talking. And I'm talking to two others right now on the podcast.
Well, Cali is a pretty liberal state, man. Maybe he can handle two June.
Oh,
Geminis.
Lord.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
God. Oh, my
You're
God.
right. You're
Hey,
right.
you know, let me get this out real quick, man. This is from I'm a misspell. Reuters.
Okay.
R is a horror for your boy. Internal guidance shows that U.S. Immigration and Customs has directed officers in Minnesota to cease engagement with protesters and agitators during enforcement actions and limit targeting to immigrants with criminal charges or convictions only. Only for Minnesota.
Okay.
So they can do that without causing mass
Does
hysteria.
anybody remember what ICE was called before they changed the name?
I did.
Everybody
Oh,
was
my
wearing
God.
back in the jacket.
What was it?
INS.
Oh, yeah.
Immigration and Naturalization Service.
Yeah, INS. Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Did Obama make it ICE?
You know what? I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
chat.
look that up. I don't know.
But it was INS.
INS.
And
yeah.
before it was, and when it was INS, we just call them immigration.
Yep.
I'm gonna call immigration on you. Now ICE is like, You
March
But
1st,
here's
2003.
the thing.
Huh?
Who was
If
president
people-
then?
If people
2003?
March
listen to this,
2003.
if people get so mad about you
W.
enforcing
George
a
W. Bush.
law on the books,
Bush.
2003. So if people get so mad about you enforcing a law on the books, if people said, you know what, we want to do this, and all we're going to do is protest and act the food, and we'll get you to change it. So laws that are unreasonable, yes, I can see you protesting and saying, hey, black people are equal to white most of the time. And so you change the law on particular matters. Okay, great. That's nothing wrong with that. But if you say, well, the aliens, we don't like them. So, when they come down, we just want to blow their brains out. And then we're going to protest if you don't want to do that.
Is it
Really?
the law or is it the tactics?
Both.
I feel like it's the tactics.
Yeah, I think it's both.
I have to state this because that was such a huge pivotal question about INS 2003, and it was done under President George W. Bush.
On that
And it
Patriot
was-
Act wave.
Patriot Act wave that allowed that to happen, and that's when we began to lose a lot of our rights under that Patriot Protection Act.
Yep.
Mhm.
And now we're here. It was I'm gonna hold my conspiracy theories to myself until I write my book about it. But
I know, yeah.
I think that's a very relevant point to make.
But what message does that send to the other states? We're gonna act up just like Minnesota, and then you will only go after the people who have a criminal record who came over here illegally. But look, Maria and Pedro and Jaime and Hector, they're cutting your yard, they're washing dishes at the restaurant, they're at the hotel. They're here illegal, and you know what they were saying? I'm not going anywhere. And they're right. They're not. They're here illegal, and they're saying, I got the gringos fighting for me. Yeah, because the gringo is exploiting you.
Yeah, all right. So Richard,
Go ahead.
you know what I know about laws? Because I saw this, when in my profession, we love tax law changes. Because tax law changes get everybody all fired up. And I remember my favorite, and if you ask Chat GPT to list the best presidents and presidents from a CEO perspective, you know who's at the top of the list? Bill Clinton. No, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I was being silly.
Bill Clinton. Because like a CEO, he surplus.
Oh yeah.
He had that kind of that chart that
He was a conservative Democrat.
Huh?
He was a conservative Democrat. He's the one that shipped all those jobs. He did the NAFTA, and he did the drug law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was getting respect from both houses.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, we gotta push forward to Around the Horn. I gotta get upstairs to my babies. Got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Finally made it back home again. I say that. So, Around the Horn, not starting with me, but we'll start with you, Deuce.
Oh man, hold on. I wasn't even ready to get my notes together. You know what? I like what I don't know if it was Lynn. It had to be Lynn.
Perfect.
About that definitely had to be Lynn. Talk about the changes happening in Minnesota, how the other states are going to look at it. I was sitting here thinking about what did Minnesota do that was different, and it's not. I don't know if it was Minnesota did or what happened to Minnesota.
Tragedy,
right? I know that Governor Walz was working with the administration. I know they had like a task force, a team trying to work with the administration. I don't know how that helped. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But the tragedy, recent tragedies, bam, bam, back to back, right? None of them were minorities, I don't believe, right? Not the national ones, at least. So how can states replicate that? And is it worth it to replicate? Is it worth it to create a scenario where we antagonize or try to antagonize somebody on ICE to replicate that same thing? Is that the way we want to fight? That's the question that's going through my head. What is the best way to fight this whole thing? We talk about laws and things like that. We talked about the most in-depth Congress in decades, since the mid-90s, right? Which ironically fell under what Chat GPT says is the best business-minded president. I think that was the Clinton time, mid-90s. But they had one of the worst Congresses. So, goes to show. These are just questions, man. I asked the audience to think about that. Next episode, drop it in the chat. What's the right way to attack this or go about this? Because I don't think we should use tragedy as our weapon. That costs too many lives, too many heartache, too much stress. And you really never know if it's effective or not until it's way too late. Who's going to make that sacrifice? Me? You guys? Who's going to go out there and be the sacrificial lamb? So it has to be another way. So I'm just curious as to what everyone would think about that. So just keep your minds open and let's try to find a way to get past this. That's my Around the Horn.
I can dig it.
nice.
Rich.
So my point tonight is hypocrisy of law enforcement. Some laws you enforce, some laws you don't. So the laws that you don't, why you still have them on the books? And I just wonder to all the illegal immigrants that come to this country, If you're here illegally, then how are you working? What social security number are you working under? How did you obtain that social security number or that EIN number? And when you pay taxes into it, when you turn 65, 67, 70 years old, you can't claim social security. And so let me speak to those from Mexico. This land was originally yours. And you claim that the gringo beat you for the land and the war and the 35 million to the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, that the money never got paid from the US government to the Mexican government. And you say that the gringo often took people off their land that they owned. And now the same gringo is exploiting you for low wages by encouraging you to come over and work for low wages. And he knows that you're here illegally, but yet you come over here anyway, because you say you want to feed your family, but you're breaking the law. But if Tyrone goes out here and sells 6 kilos of cocaine or $20 of crack rock, he's completely wrong. So what laws do you want to enforce versus what laws you don't want to enforce? So the laws you don't want to enforce are for the good people. So if all these illegal immigrants were black people from Africa, would you feel the same way? Would you? Maybe. I don't know. And so if you don't enforce your laws and you continue to have your border open, then why have a border? Why have one? That's the hypocrisy of enforcing these laws when people say, well, no, these are good people, but you know they're here illegally. You know it. But you say they should stay. Okay, because that's the love of God that you say that you have in you. But I question about your love of God when it came to your own Black Americans and how you treat them. I'm done.
Gotcha.
If you ever drive down a residential street and you see a very large speed bump, I can give you the number one reason why that speed bump is there. I guarantee you, a young child was struck and killed by an automobile that was driving at a high rate of speed. And this goes back to, where Deuce started with regard to how change happens. Unfortunately, tragedy moves the change needle more than anything else. Not just in this country, but I believe in the world. Mm-hmm. And that's probably never going to change. When relatives got beef, where does that beef get settled? At a funeral, not at a family reunion. They'll take that beef to the family reunion and be beefing the whole 3 or 4 days. And, like the Hatfields and McCoys. Aren't they from Kentucky, Jay?
Yeah.
But at the funeral, it's different. The repast is different. And that's on all of us. So the change that we want to see begins with the person that you look at in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And, that's why I believe it is possible to have another party that supplants the two parties that we have now. It's possible, but not probable because of all of the things that we talked about tonight, which is just basically human behavior. Complacency, laziness, comfort level, all that stuff. It's a gumbo of things that have to happen in order for the change that we're talking about to be real. Yes, we have laws, and then, somebody dies in a car accident, all of a sudden, boom, now we're going to make a big deal about seatbelt. I remember that seatbelt law was on the books for years and years and years. And a seatbelt ticket, you laugh at the cop.
Yeah.
Seatbelt, or, people slipping it on while they're approaching the car because they didn't have it on when they got pulled over. It's just a situation where all of us need to have conversations with our circles and be the change that we want to see. And still, it's going to be a very difficult and uphill challenge. But that's, that's the way I feel. That's what I believe. I believe that's where we are as a people, as a country. Whenever I hear illegal, that whole conversation is difficult to have with most people because most people don't know how you become illegal. Most people don't come here illegally. They become illegal while they're here.
Mhm.
They do.
I have to respectfully disagree.
I know you do. But you know why? Listen. I worked at a place that was owned by foreigners. And I saw how they would bring people here legally with visas, travel visas, vacation visas, school visas. And when those visas were about to expire, they would get them married up to an American.
Yeah.
And then they would go down to INS and they would tell him his toothbrush is blue and my toothbrush is pink and he likes this food. And they would go through the INS interview process and boom, green card was in the chat, entering the chat. I saw that. I lived it. So but the reason why illegal is such a charging thing is because everybody's imagining in their mind that people are marching across the Rio Grande, holding clothes above their heads. That is not how you get to all these people. That's not how it happened. Most people who are illegal today were legal at one point.
I can tell you with 1,000% certainty, when I lived in Arizona 8 years, that is not the case. Period. That's not the case for Arizona.
What's the case for Arizona?
When I lived there, people was coming across that border illegally and they were working. And once you get a driver's license, that driver's license lasts till you're 65. So if you're able to come across the border, get a social security number and get a driver's license, you're never leaving, period. In fact, when they were talking about enforcing some strong immigration laws years ago, they said, if you try to enforce that on us, let's see you go a day without us here. And they backed off.
Well,
in the state of Arizona.
I don't know about licenses in Arizona, but in Texas, they expire.
I'm saying between
they expire.
I'm telling you, those people were here illegally. They did not.
Right. Well, you also told me that you got your driver's license privilege till you're 65.
Listen to what I'm saying. When those people came across the border,
is that allegedly, Richard?
When those people came across the border, if they were able to get themselves a driver's license, that license would last till they were 65. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know, what I saw.
Look, Arizona has always been a crazy state to me. They don't do daylight savings time. They didn't do MLK until they couldn't get a Super Bowl. But this is another one that I can put on the stack. If you get a license in Arizona, you get till 65.
Okay.
Are you telling us that, Richard?
I'm telling you the gospel truth. So when they were going to enforce the legal laws in Arizona, the immigration laws in Arizona, the Mexicans said, from the ones who came over illegally, well, then we won't work for a day and we'll show you what you can get done, what you won't get done in a day. So your entire restaurant industry was down. Your entire home building industry was down. Your entire agriculture industry was down.
Hey, Rich is right, man.
That'll wreck your state. And I'm telling you, in fact, they said it so strongly that the job I had in the construction industry, my bosses were white, and they were like, when I was going to the job sites, the white supervisors were like, hey, they're not here today. I said, well, there's one right there. He said, yeah, but he's a special equipment. He had to come in. We begged him to come in. So they'll be back tomorrow. We don't want to upset him.
Hey,
That's what we did. The power they had.
Rich, you're right, man. Arizona is the only state that does not have an expiration for the driver's
I'm
license.
not surprised.
The
No,
only
I'm not
state.
surprised. I told
You have it to your age
Arizona-
65, and then you have to get it updated.
Right. I'm
So-
not surprised. Like I didn't say. Listen,
Right.
I didn't say you were telling a fib. I
If
told you Arizona is an outlier as a
It
state.
is.
If you go to Texas, if you go to Brownsville in Texas, now here's the funny thing: the Caucasians near the border in Brownsville in Texas, they actually support the illegals, but they'll tell you they're coming across the border illegally, but they don't like how they're being treated when they, when you rough them up and then you send them back. They say you don't treat them like that because they're still human beings.
Right.
So
All I'm saying, Richard, all I've ever said, and I'm not going to use my energy to do the math
okay,
but I've seen how so many people go from legal to illegal. And when I say most, I'm talking 51. My most is always 51%.
but you're on the East
I
Coast.
believe.
Though, right? You was
Say
in
again?
Philadelphia. You was in Philadelphia, right?
Oh, when I was dealing with that INS situation, yeah. But now I'm
I
in
do-
Texas.
But I believe on the East Coast it's a lot different than it is in the West and the Southwest.
Oh
But
yeah,
that-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what you just described,
Uh-huh.
and unfortunately it happened in Texas, but a day with no construction and a day with no whatever, that's a snow day in Philly where everything is shut down.
Right.
I've been in Atlanta when it snowed and the city had one snow plow.
Yes.
Guess what? The whole city was shut down.
Yeah.
So shutting a whole city down for one day should not move the needle at all. But in Arizona, I'm not surprised.
Okay, that's
I'm not.
Look, Arizona's done some bad things. I admit that. A lot of bad things. I don't know if any state is absolutely perfect when it comes to treating minorities. I'm not so sure. Maybe some states, even though I always said that Minnesota is a good state to be a minority in. I always said that because I said the majority of the Caucasians in Minnesota are Scandinavian white. Those are good white people. I've always said that. Okay, y'all laughing.
No, I got what you
Oh,
said.
my
I
God.
got what
My
you
boy
said.
said, "What breed do you like your white people?" Scandinavian.
I'm telling you,
Oh, my
when you
God.
look,
I know why you're saying it.
When you
It
look at
just
what part
sounded
of Europe
that's all.
came to America, when you look at the state of Minnesota, a lot of those Caucasians came from Scandinavian Europe, and they were not nearly as racist or even prejudiced compared to Caucasians from England, France. They're nowhere, no comparison.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not laughing because I disagree with you. I'm
This
laughing
is the way
because
you
you caught
said
me
it.
off guard with the good white people. That was funny to me.
Let me
No,
go
we
to the
used to
sub-
incorporate.
the
We call them
sub-Saharan black folks.
GWM. Good white.
Yeah,
Scandinavian white.
GWM.
Let me
Yeah,
get one of them sub-Saharan black folks.
right. All right, let me get around the horn real quick because I got to get some sleep. I am fresh off of 3 days from being on the road, 10, 8, and then 7 plus a little more today. And I am very fatigued, so I won't be able to hang out after. What I will say is we have great discussion on this platform. So first off, like and subscribe, everybody. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, right? Because you're not only just getting fact-checked information, but you're also getting information from subject matter experts on multiple different levels. So yeah, like and subscribe. What I will say, over the last 20 plus days as I've been hanging out in Arizona, there's something that came to me and it's because I chatted with a lot of people, especially with my brothers. We have really, really good debates and talks. And as we were discussing something, there was the one thing that jumped out in my head is, oh my God, they did it to us. And they're already doing it again. And we haven't caught on and stopped them yet. All of our issues and problems has actually been facilitated by the millionaires and billionaires who are pushing, running, and funding our politicians, even up to the president. And they've gotten so cold at this game that if you're not really paying attention, you will continue to experience significant emotional events like a white woman or a white man being killed by fellow Americans that have on different clothes and a different title. The needle moves with us, but they're the fingers that are pushing the needles. If we don't figure out a way to corral our resources and say, hey, we are not going to allow you to define these things the way that you have, it doesn't matter where we go. We end up in the exact same situation. It doesn't matter if we come up with great political parties as well as great strategies to make things happen. If we allow a small percentage of people to maintain the vast majority of wealth, we'll end up in the exact same situation every single time. Because that's the significant emotional event that they can continue to hide from us and play in front of our faces with. Some people starve. I'm good because I'm not hungry. Some people can't get to work because they can't take the bus. I'm good because I got gas in my car. Meanwhile, it's the same bastards who are controlling the gas industries that both the bus and the car have to use to get to, who are controlling the job outputs that both the homeless as well as the high middle class need in order to simply survive. That's the question of how do we figure our way out of that? I don't know if we can.
No, it's easy. You go to a third or fourth option. But when I said that earlier, I said, but they can't take money from lobbyists, which means some of them have to get shot.
But you know it still has to happen. Somebody still got to pay for those people who are hitting the streets for the campaign.
Yeah.
That person.
Somebody got to pay for those ads on TV.
Somebody got to pay for the ads on TV. Somebody owns the actual news, the television station that your ads have to run on.
You don't go through that. You have to develop your own platform through social media.
I'm not disagreeing with you. And again, I agree with what Lynn said. I'm not saying that it's not possible,
right?
But the probability is a completely different
I
environment.
wish we could go back to those enslaved Africans that when the Civil War started and they were told by the South, you'll never be free. And they said, we ain't gonna believe that.
Yeah, but those also enslaved Africans were told by the North, y'all gonna be free in a minute. You keep giving the Southern look. You keep giving the loser perspective. But the winning side was telling them Negroes what?
Hey, y'all gonna get it. Y'all gonna be all right.
Be free, and then y'all got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be free.
Yeah.
Now, so that's all I'm saying is once we the people actually take control of our own manifest destiny and we move in the exact same fashion, and we say, no, we don't have to be a completely socialistic society. We don't have to be a completely communistic society, so on and so forth. But we have to be a society with rules and laws that work and standards that are held, and not lawlessness from felons. I know you don't believe in it. I got it. I'm just telling you what the state of New York believes. What they ruled. A jury of his peers.
Those are facts.
Those are facts, right?
They're going to be those charges.
They will still be facts. Overturned
because
or
it's
not,
still state.
They will still be facts from this point to that point.
Once it's over,
he was a convicted felon.
But once it's overturned, the stigma is no longer there.
It's
because
state.
Here's the problem: we as black men, when we say this is where I can always say, we as black men, how many black men have caught cases that they were innocent of? Too many. And so they have destroyed my credibility when they ran my criminal past out here in California. They tried to destroy my credibility.
But he wasn't innocent. He did it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He did it.
Because if the judge is overturned,
it's not opinion. He did what the felon says. He did that.
If the judges
look, don't make your OPP payments
We're going to,
deductible, and you'll be straight.
hold on a second here. Let me go to this word I wrote down. We're going to de-escalate this conversation.
Oh, my boy.
What time is it?
11:37
7:37 p.m. We're going
I'm proud
to
of you.
de-escalate.
I love it. I love it. That's great. And with that being said, I've got to jump off and make sure everybody gets to sleep, brush their teeth, and all that other good stuff. Again, like and subscribe. If you have something that you want to bring to the panel, by all means, we invite people up. We love to have a conversation with you and get your perspective on a multitude of different things. Hit the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, push it out. With that being said, thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.